literally when we went to see, I think 2011 StarCraft World Finals.
No, I think we saw each
Was that
other.
2012?
No, we saw each other after that because we saw the Kanye concert.
Oh shit, you're right. We did go see Kanye and Kendrick opened up.
Yeah,
Oh
that was like
yeah.
20.
What else happened?
I
20,
think
that has to be like 2014.
it's like 2014, 20. It's either 2014 or 2016. I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, it's been a minute.
Damn, we're old, man. I'm like, wait, how long ago?
We are rapidly approaching 30, which is like, man,
Ah, yeah,
we could
man.
just join the 27 club. I don't know.
Jeez,
Nice
jeez.
hat.
With what's going on? Yeah, this is my I didn't comb my hair, so I have a hat on. Yeah. So what's tell me about your podcast and what's gonna go down.
Sure.
What do you have in mind? Yeah.
So the stated objective of the podcast is for me to just reconnect with people that I've not talked to in a while, which you are uh, easily classified as.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like I have no idea what's gone on in your life. I would hope to find out through the course of however long this conversation lasts.
Fair enough. Yep.
I did like a trial run last weekend, and it felt very sort of interviewy. But I'd rather just have it be just more of like a regular conversation between two
No,
human
for
beings.
sure.
Because just like,
Yeah,
dude, we're
for sure.
friends. We get it.
And not only that, there's enough to talk about these days.
Oh, for sure. And it's not like anybody else has anything to do, so might as well just do
No,
this now,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. So, the podcast is that going to be released like just audio, video? What's gonna you gonna do both
So
things?
Zoom's pretty good. That allows me to record audio and video. Also, this is currently going out to the Twitch stream, although nobody's going to check it out in all likelihood. But it's available. That is an option.
Fair enough.
Um, so yeah, so once it's all over, Zoom will generate it generates a separate audio and video file, which is pretty neat. So I get to upload the video to like YouTube or whatever. And then if there's like stuff in the audio that I want to cut
Fair
out, I
enough.
can easily do that. I know very little about audio editing, so this is either something that I will completely forego or take time to like use it as an opportunity to learn something.
So why don't you take this opportunity right here to plug your Twitch stream? What is it? Where can we find it? Where can we tune in?
this is this is how the show works. It's twitch.tv/tofuboy87. Still
Tofu
rocking the
boy.
same moniker that I've had for literally an eternity.
Perfect. There you
But
are.
apparently, straight up Tofuboy was already taken, so I had to bump up some numbers.
Oh, I didn't. I accidentally unfollowed you. I'm gonna follow you right back. We're good now. We're good now.
Appreciate
We're
it,
good
man.
now. Yeah, no worries. I was just making sure I had you followed. I believed I did, so we're good. But yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, you had a like a mock trial last week. Who was that? Who was your guinea pig? Your first guinea pig?
So the guinea pig was actually the guest from my first episode, which I released like maybe a year or two ago. Uh,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. So it was the same guy, and I thought it would just be funny to like, as this is the reboot, either just have him back or just have him be like, well, he's on episodes 1 and 2. I ran out of friends immediately.
And it's almost like a pickup where you left off. Pretend nothing happened. The podcast continuing like nothing happened,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure. I wasn't gone for a
Absolutely.
year.
Okay.
You just weren't paying attention.
Yeah,
I could, I
yeah,
could, I
yeah.
could, I could
So
start the number scheme at like this episode like 56.
no, that's awesome. So we as viewers though, we can find your podcast on your Twitch stream. And then are you
Yeah.
going to be
So
releasing on other platforms?
if I could figure out what specifically, like what specific sort of audio channel will allow me to do that, because I know like I think SoundCloud has like a limit on duration for like free accounts. I'm not at the
Yeah.
point where it's financially reasonable for me to start paying for an account just to get this out there, but this is mostly just to gauge interest at this point.
No, absolutely. 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 So what was the reason for the hiatus I guess you had when you started? Because honestly, podcasts are a great way that I believe that people can express themselves. It's almost therapeutic in a way where you can speak your thoughts and have an open forum to talk. And then and then the other aspect would be, you want to actually get to connect with other people. So which of the three do you most connect with when you initially were like,
So initially, when I
doing
had the
podcasts?
idea, it was mostly just to be like a sort of speech therapy type thing, because like historically, I'm very bad at communicating
Okay,
in
yeah,
most mediums. Um, so originally, my goal is to actually one meet in person with someone, because again,
yeah,
social situations not the greatest,
yes,
and then two, just like be able to talk for however long people felt comfortable talking. Um,
right.
and then the hiatus came after that first episode because like man, just arranging a place to meet and like trying to figure out schedules was just too much for me at the time, even though I was like 20, 25, 26. It's like, yeah, you're an adult at that point, you should be able to figure it out.
Y-
But everybody's just like
every
so
year
busy
we
with their
take
lives.
ourselves, yeah, no, every year we take ourselves too seriously, so it's understandable, no,
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. So
But yeah,
so
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 sorry.
continue, go ahead, sorry.
So now that quarantine's in full effect, everybody's just kind of like stuck at home. A lot of people still able to like connect in their own ways that they've devised, but this is just like extending the olive branch to people.
Absolutely, and I think it's a great time to decide, let's give it a shot, right? Because people like, this is a good way to segue into the talk about the whole quarantine. And basically, like, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, I've been living, apparently my lifestyle's been in isolation for the last 10 years. So
Like
for me,
nothing,
things
like nothing's
haven't really
changed.
drastically changed.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed, except I just can't. I usually like see friends every 2 weeks or three
Mhm.
weeks or something, and that now that's like completely off the table. So that sucks a little bit.
Have you
But
been able to
I
compensate it
feel
through other
for,
ways?
yeah, like, my gamer friends we play games with, but other friends, like, I have like workout routines I do with a close friend who used to be a gym partner with me,
Mm.
and we just kind of like either FaceTime each other, or we'll shoot up an Instagram story saying, "Hey, look, I'm doing my thing. You better be posting yours too." Just to keep each other in check, because I'm extremely lazy. He's extremely lazy, but together we kind of
you,
just make
you you
sure,
keep each
like,
other accountable. And it's good to have that
exactly.
sort of buddy system, especially in the at the gym.
Exactly. So that's one aspect, because it's like not all my friends are gamer friends, but the gamer friends
Oh
is nothing's changed.
yeah.
I'd see my gamer friends more online than in real life anyway. So in that sense, nothing's changed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like the other friends, I feel for them a little bit, because those people are way more outgoing, and they do normal, I want to say normal people shit, because I love playing video games. So I game a lot. I'll go to the gym or something, but I'm not going to be taking a hike or doing all this other stuff. So the people who like being outdoors, I feel they're locked in now, and they the adjustment for them is much more drastic than I want to say for me and you, right? And
Oh,
what do you think about
absolutely
what do you
true.
think about
Um, like for the most part, my housemates they had been getting out a lot more in like the last year, but then this sort of all kicked in, and now they're starting to get that sort of cabin fever going. Um,
Yes.
the way I connect through them mostly initially was actually through video games, but then they just sort of like they grew up, they stopped playing video games as much. So now they're sort of going back to it, which is nice to hear.
It's like,
Games
oh,
are
you're
games are
online
great.
again.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Funny story. Like, recently, like, I still play StarCraft. So somehow I got in a group of friends with people that are from like Mexico and Bolivia.
Oh wow.
So like every other night, or every third day, like we meet up at like 8 p.m. My time 8 p.m. Their time is like 6 p.m. And we all have like a round robin tournament of StarCraft 1v1s. And like,
Nice.
I haven't seen this type of activity in StarCraft for the longest time. It reminds me of when it first came out. All the boys are ready, lined up to play, and it's also the broken English and Spanish. It's like the quarantine is forcing people, not forcing, but like you want to go get to know new people and people who have shared interests. So just like the podcast, like this would be a great forum for anybody who wants to come and speak their mind about whatever
Oh
Chris is
nice.
offering.
Emergency
Oh,
alert. Sorry.
no, that's good. It makes the
Thanks.
podcast
Yeah.
interesting. I
Thanks,
got one
government of
too.
Ontario.
My phone is on silent though, because they keep telling me every other day to stay
Yeah,
off.
that is a wise decision.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
man,
No,
I just love that alert sound so much.
Listen, I had it open the other day and I panicked because I thought it was like my building or something else was going on. And I realized it was just my phone telling me
to stay
uh,
inside.
to stay inside if I didn't already know, which is fine. So I keep it on keep it on silent now. It did scare me. It was like a jump scare. I got up. Absolutely. Yeah. So but yeah, in terms of yeah, like I don't say I'm an introvert, but like I like my time to myself. I'd say I am a, I don't know, not to put a label on it. I enjoy my personal time, and when I want to go out and see friends, I'll take that time and I'll do it. But it's usually been just me, myself, and I for the most part. Not to sound depressing either. It's like that a
But
girlfriend would be great. That'd be great. But it just hasn't happened. I've been focused
yeah,
on my career and myself and all that. So on your end, what are what's the last couple years been like, and how has everything halted to a stop this year?
man, this is the question I'm supposed to be asking you, dude. Um,
No. This is my podcast now.
God damn it, I've lost control of my own show.
You can ask me again. You can ask it
No,
now.
no, no.
Yeah.
Um, so the last couple of years, graduated finally out in like 2006. Uh, got a job at an insurance company in November of that year, and I've pretty much
Okay.
been in the same position ever since, much to the chagrin of like some of my friends who, they want to see me do better, and I get it, but also I feel like I'm in a position to sort of bring people up, like those around me, up a bit more, um, just because of like the skill set that I have.
Yeah.
And as things are shifting to more of a like a technology focus, or like new things are being introduced to sort of make people's lives easier in the workplace, there's an adaptation period that some people who aren't on the computer as much as I am, or haven't like done the same sort of things, they can get lost in it pretty quickly. um,
Yeah.
so I want to sort of help that process from like the ground floor, where I'm at right now.
Now, when you say that, do you mean from a standpoint of like, are you talking about your company or are you talking about something completely new? Or are
At my
you talking
company.
about? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So I
they're
no, I
they're they're
totally yeah.
they're finally adapting to like the fact that we live in an electronic world. People don't want to send in like physical mail, so you need to come up with processes to like handle electronic claims and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know why it's taken 10 years since like the tech boom, or like 10 20 years since the tech boom, for them to really get into the idea of online claim submission. But we're finally here. It took some time, but we're getting there.
Well, that's no, that's good to hear. It'll definitely make life easier
God
once
damn.
they get on board.
What
Chris,
a
how many phones do you have? Turn them all to silent.
See, the thing is, they send it in English, and then they also send it in French in a separate message.
That's right. That's right.
Mute,
There is
mute
two. Yeah,
everything.
they come in pairs. They come in pairs.
But they're not like immediate
So
pairs. So like they lull you into thinking that you're safe, and then they just hit you with it again. It's like,
like
no.
2 minutes in, yeah. And as somebody who's most of the time like staring at a computer trying to focus on something, and you're like, oh,
Oh God, the world's ending.
yeah, the world's ending. Thanks for the reminder.
But
No,
yeah.
that's so that's work. What about you
So in my
personally?
personal life,
Yeah,
I moved out of my parents' house this last October. So I'm living with two of my friends now. Thank you, thank you. Hold for
that's
applause.
no, that's first of all, that doesn't happen easily, and it is so good when it does. So
Oh, for sure.
congrats.
Um, they have been very encouraging of me to actually grow as a person. So I started going to the gym for 3 times a week, and like hard committing at the start of this year. I was pretty good about that. I've since become very lazy since the quarantine's kicked in. Like I still have to actually physically go to work, so like I'll walk to the bus stop and like take the slightly longer, or take the bus route that's like slightly farther away from my work, so I just get some more steps in every day.
Extra, yeah,
Yeah, but like I'm not out there running every day or something to make up for
for
lost
sure.
time.
For sure. It's definitely been hard for me because I'm even lazy in the gym. Like I hate cardio, man. And unfortunately, cardio is as you get older, it's one of those things that you realize, damn, like you
Yeah, you
have
should have
to
been
do
doing
this
this.
because as you're turning into an old man, your body's like, yeah, I'm giving up on you, and you're like, you can't. But yeah, no, the home workouts I have like a slew of videos and like from like beginner home workouts, which I'm doing right now. They're quite hard because I haven't been focusing on like, if we're talking about working out, just like my core. I do like
Mhm.
gym stuff, lift weights, and I
Yeah.
focus on certain things. But if you're not doing cardio and you're not doing core workouts, you're not building that strength. So I've realized it's been like a profound moment where I've been like, I'm actually the weakest man ever when it comes to core strength. So I've been putting in some work on that, but I agree with you completely. Like, it's so much easier just sit here all day, like right
Oh yeah.
here, just sit here all
Right,
day.
right here in our gaming chairs.
Yeah, in our gauge, look at us go. Wee. Yeah, no, it's good times. It's good times. But yeah, no, overall, yeah, I think for both of us, from what you said as well, like life hasn't really changed then in terms of
No, not
quarantine.
not
Besides,
particularly.
besides the stuff we were trying to do to be like normal people,
Yeah, no, that got taken away from
that
us.
got taken away.
But
Um,
reeling it back a bit, so like we mentioned the last time we saw each other was at a Kanye concert. Uh,
which was sick,
where
by the way.
where are you at now? Are you still
So
in Waterloo? Did
I'm
you
in
move out to
GTA.
Toronto?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I'm
big
in
city boy.
GTA area. Luckily, I say luckily because I would live downtown and I like downtown too much, if you know what I mean. Because you could just go out every night and you just spend all your money immediately. But I live in Etobicoke now. I'm working for a cookies chocolate manufacturing company. They make like the Toblerone and
Oh, that's sick.
yeah, so I'm working there right now. So things are good for me. Also, I mean, like in my mind, I've been moved out of my house, like in and out over and over again because my program that I was doing was a co-op program, right? So
Mhm.
I was working, from 4 to 8 months at a time. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, like it ties back into like, I've been like living in isolation for enough time already, so it's like we've been training for this. But besides work, there's not too much going on right now because of what's gone on, right? Like I work from home right now. I'm fortunate enough that I'm in a business where they can allow that, and processes can still continue. The plants are still functioning, chocolate is still being produced, the kids are getting their candy.
Hell yeah, dude.
um, we live in that world. It's like Willy Wonka, you know what I mean? So, I'm very fortunate. I still get a paycheck. I can still pay rent. I'm not completely getting screwed by the coronavirus. So I do count my blessings, and I think it's very beneficial that to have that perspective of the other side as well, and to be able to talk to other people. So that's going into like the podcast, such a good way to connect to other people in this time as
Oh
well,
yeah.
while maintaining social distancing, right?
Oh,
um
we are so far away from each other, dude.
we're so far away from each other, and that being said, like I don't really feel alone at this time in terms of like living in Etobicoke or working from home. um I just feel like everybody else has kind of joined us,
Yeah, they
and
finally showed up.
they've showed up to the party, and I'm like, relax, I got this, hold my beer, I'll show you how to deal with
You're a few
this.
drinks in, you're tipsy, you're ready to
Yeah,
just get this party
yeah,
started.
just take it easy, don't panic, everything's gonna be all right. So as long as everybody stays put for 14 days to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, there shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, the more people break that rule, the further this will go.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, otherwise on my end of things, like if I go backwards from where I am now, I was working doing some research at Waterloo for a year and a half. Before that, I just graduated. So 2018, I graduated. I took my time, Chris, as you
Hell
know.
yeah. Listen, we
It's okay
everybody.
though. It's okay though.
I I I I respect people who just like went straight 4 years out of like 4 to 6 years or whatever after high school.
Yeah,
I
just got it
I
done.
I myself took like a year and a half off because it was just like I was no longer interested in the major that I had. I just like didn't know what to do. So it's like, okay, I'm not gonna just like go to school for a bit just to like get my mind right.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I had the forethought that you had when I was graduating high school. Because when I was graduating high school, for me, it was just like I think I was still in that high school mindset that oh, everything's still good and we're having a good time. All right, so we'll just keep going on with it. So when I got yeah, I went into biomed, but I switched out of that in 2 years. But yeah, like it's a point where I think of it as a learning point, and I'm sure you did as well when you took the decision to take a year off or two off. When you were like, I'm not ready for this. I don't know what I'm going to do. This might be a waste. And it was the same when I jumped shipped out of my first program that I went into. My parents were like, oh, you're switching majors? Like, okay, get OSAP, get your own tuition paid for, take care of this. And I was like, all right, it's a risk I had to take.
Mhm.
But I think one of those decisions where I was like, yo, I made the right move there. That was a big win. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I so my break wasn't actually between high school and university. It was like third year university. I'm just like I can't do this anymore.
Oh, for sure. No, no.
Yeah.
Anytime you take the break, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
yeah. No, absolutely. I have people who have just been like, yeah, forget this. I'm gonna go start a restaurant. This is what I love. You know what I mean?
Now there was a period in there where you were. I'm not gonna say like trying to recruit me to like into some business, but you're very. I was worried about you. I don't quite remember the
I,
the exact details, but
I
there was just like this sort of
yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking
yeah
about. It's a very pivotal moment in my life there too, because I think that was 2014 or 20. It was after the Kanye
yeah
concert,
for sure.
probably. So 2015, 2016. I had just failed out of engineering. I'd failed my first semester. So they had put me on a 8 month. I don't know why they do this, but it was like an 8 month. I don't know what I forget the word for it, but it's basically like a restriction. You can't come back to
Um,
school for eight
it's
months,
like
and
academic
then you can
probation,
try
I
it
think.
again, something like that,
Yeah.
right? So I got put on that, and I didn't really have much to do in terms of work. I was on a co-op term, so the co-op term was going fine. I finished the co-op term, but when I got back, I had nothing to do but think about how I had failed out and why and what was going on. So mentally, I was not in the best place for myself,
Mhm.
and I was just like ready to essentially, I don't know what's the best way to put this. I was ready to do anything that can move me away from that state, that mental state, right?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I got looped in with people who were working for basically a pyramid scheme company. And
That MLM
I don't
one.
know if you've ever dealt with, yes, that
I've,
MLM
I've
life.
I've
Yeah.
never dealt with them
So
personally.
if
I've just heard stories, and none of them are particularly
yeah,
good.
so so uh, I don't really have a problem with MLM companies. That's their business. That's their
Mhm.
niche. I know better for myself. And if anybody asks me, "Hey, I've heard of this. Should I sign up or something?" I'd say no, probably not. Like we know what it is. But at the time, it was not as clear to me. But not only that, I wasn't in the best sense of judging things. So my friend actually came up to me and introduced me to this. And one thing leads to another. As you know, these things go. You go to meetings. It's like a
Mhm.
fucking hype show, and everything is all get rich quick type schemes. But for me, it was I was almost rebuilding kind of my ego together, putting my ego back together by just attending and doing certain activities with these guys. But at the end of it, it was more of a yeah, it was like an ego stroke
Yeah,
phase of
like
my life where I needed to build confidence back in myself. But unfortunately, I had been like recruited by these guys, and they were fueling that. They were filling that void that had been left in me personally when I had, and the reason for failing out of school was other things like that's
mhm.
other personal problems. I never considered school difficult or anything that would be challenging, but school, I just stopped going to classes and failed out. Just didn't give a shit about it.
Mm.
Um, but this was me kind of, this is all I had at that point. And I remember, I don't particularly remember reaching out to you, but they run you through gauntlets of like, okay, give us like everybody and start calling all these people, right? So it's like it's stuff like that that's happened, and obviously there like I've gotten a lot of backlash during that time, and even after, just from people I've reached out to, people I talked to, but um, at the end of the day, those who were like my closest friends or the people that really knew me or talked to me day to day, they knew exactly what was going on. I'd tell them, "Oh, I met these guys. Oh, they took me to this." So,
Mm.
but unfortunately, nobody that I knew personally had, I guess, enough of a heart to be like, "Yo, you're getting fucking conned, or you're getting screwed over. Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing, right?"
it was a hard topic to even like sort of bring up. Like, in hindsight, I feel like I should have done something about it. But you seemed excited about this thing that you were a part of. But I guess that was the draw that got you into it in the first place. So,
Yeah. That's what.
but
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what it
like
runs off of. It
killing
runs
that
off of
vibe.
that.
It's just like you don't want to do that to a friend, but also you want to protect them. You want to make sure that they're good.
And that's why it's such a vicious circle if you get into those things, right? Because it genuinely, the people that care about you, they won't want to say it to you, but the people that really care about you, they'll be like, "You're a fucking idiot, like what are you doing with your life?" But unfortunately, I guess nobody was around at that time for that.
But hey, you're out now.
Oh, we're oh, we're
You,
out, we're
you've
out
been
here,
out.
man. Oh, we're out, we've been out, man. That was a crazy, I think 6 to 8 months of my life. But as soon as I was back in school, it was back on track and just trying to finish my degree. And in terms of, that part of my life was, just another learning lesson to take and hand forward. I don't know. It's nothing else. It's nothing really to me now. I don't hold it as, oh, like I wasted time. I just kind of take it as like it genuinely holds no value to me, but information that can be passed on to others now. That's all it is. It's like, yeah, avoid those things. If you want to grind on something, do something that's your own. That would be the best. That being said, what's going on? What's going on with the economy right now? Are you are you secured in terms of a job?
Oh yeah. So I work in the mailroom of an insurance company. So people still want their money, and we're not, and we're still technically considered essential. Um,
Okay.
so like I said, I've been like having to physically go into work every week because I'm not yet or sorry, within the boundaries of my team, there needs to be like a skeleton crew to actually handle
Yeah.
physical mail, and every other member, well, most of the other members, so it took priority in terms of like trying to work from home because they either live with high risk people or whatever, or are themselves high risk.
Right.
So it's just like, all right, well, I guess I'm sticking around just to make sure that everything's going smoothly. But yeah, I'll still get my paychecks and stuff. No real threat of me losing my job anytime soon.
Okay. Yeah. I'd say the same for me. I'm on contract till September, so
Mhm.
I'm actually not in threat till September. But like personally, I'm actively looking for jobs. What I really wanted to ask about though is in this time of so many different things changing and moving around, and the blow up of esports in the last couple of years, and then now obviously because esports are the only sport currently.
Oh yeah.
It's funny how that works out, right? Like all the naysayers now, like, well, you tell me what's on live, right? It's only esports. So, have you ever considered going into that sector? Have you ever thought about there's like it's
There,
blowing up, right? So there's positions in as a regular business would have in any esports team, company, the guys that handle the big brands.
so there was a time where I did want to be like an announcer for probably League of Legends more than anything. just based on games that I'm knowledgeable about. Historically, people have said that they enjoy my voice, so it's just like, yeah, sure, we'll talk on a microphone for a while. But I never sort of committed to that career path, mostly because it just seems such a long shot for a while. But now, uh, to
Hindsight
see its
says what?
success, yeah, to just like not believe in uh, like a dream, like that sort of dream.
You're
Um,
you're yourself, and and when I say that, I'm talking like
oh
you're me right now. I
yeah,
same thing.
did you ever want to do anything in esports?
Absolutely,
Are you and is
absolutely.
that in the category of things that you were looking for now? Because you mentioned that you were looking for
I
other career
am
opportunities.
I am, if anything, more inclined now than ever. Even before all this, the quarantine stuff. Actually, in November and December, I started blasting off invites on LinkedIn. I'm connected now with like the CEO of SK Telecom
Nice.
Korea. I'm connected with like a couple of Aussie like big heads that are running esports down there. And I'm trying to connect with like brand managers, like coaches, the guys that like set up the events. Like I'm just trying to connect to anybody on LinkedIn. Say, hey, really interested in what you do. Uh, just want to follow you and learn more, and support the scene. And then essentially, some of these guys start posting like, we're looking for this and this. We're looking for a guy get paid full time to be a content creator for Call of Duty weekly. You need to make episodes once a week, and it needs to be exciting. Blah blah blah. Like they did. This is the time I think they're looking for people who want to become personalities, or if you want to get behind the scenes and be brand managers, or if you want to be in marketing, logistics. It's all really opening up, and I see it opening up on LinkedIn, and I'm sure it's opening up beyond LinkedIn as well. So it's definitely something that has piqued my interest, because I would be happy to bust my ass doing something for esports rather than break my back for something I hate going to every day. If I can put it like that. Not that I'm saying I hate my job. I'm just saying obviously
But
so much more appealing to be in a sector that you enjoy and a scene that you
yeah,
follow. You know what I mean? Like you're happy to research it. You know what I mean? That kind of
yeah,
stuff.
it's a different kind of grind for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know what's gonna happen in the next bit, but if I saw a big opportunity pop up, or if I saw um, a way to make it happen. Right now, it's all about you got to make yourself a brand before any of these guys approach you.
Yeah.
Whether and it doesn't have to be you're a streamer, you're making YouTube videos. You just need to be good at what you do related to that. So I'm still scoping out what's up, uh, but I don't know yet.
Outside of these LinkedIn connections, is there anything that you're doing to sort of get that brand up?
I've been thinking about this more recently. I've been like I told you, I am a big StarCraft fan.
Mhm.
One big content creator was a guy named Frugy. I don't know how it's pronounced, but he was doing Tasteless and Artosis highlights. Those two guys are like big GSL casters in Korea, but they're the English casters. Hilarious guys, and these videos like I've been watching for like 2 3 years, highlight after highlight, because it's like so funny how these guys cast, and they're just like full of jokes and they know their shit. So it's always like good content. But ever since the Blizzard Hong Kong incident,
Mhm.
that content creator was one of the guys to say, I'm not okay with this ethically, and I'm not making content for this.
Oh
So
wow, didn't know that.
I've seriously been considering taking up the mantle and making highlight videos, because the new season of StarCraft just started. They just had their first GSL Super Tournament, and I was dying. Like I was hurting in my stomach from laughing at certain points, and that's when I was like, people would love to see this if I cut it, clipped it, edited it, threw a meme in there. So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. You might see something in the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, dude. It's been a while since I've seen like a StarCraft cast, and of the esports I do watch, the sort of downtime banter isn't as it isn't as prevalent. I guess they want to they try to be like more uh, sort of destigmatizing of esports. So like they'll try to avoid that sort of downtime banter. Weird stutter. Oh god.
I'm gonna have to send you. I'm gonna have to send you like a few specific clips because they killed me.
Oh yeah.
They killed me. They said some funny stuff. It was from like the range of like it was like an inside StarCraft joke, or it could have been like, yeah, we're the head of e-gaming now. The world's all tuning into e-gaming. You know, like
Oh
completely
yeah.
making fun of that. Still a running joke. And then like other times it could just be like absurd madness. Like these guys are just talking about nothing. But these guys are my favorite casters. Their
Mhm.
dynamic has been great for almost like 15 years, 16 years. They started in StarCraft 1, got to StarCraft 2, were the first English casters on the scene for GSL, and they've been doing it. They live in Korea now. They're my idols. Like, if I could live their life, that'd be the dream for sure. That'd
uh
be the for sure.
yeah. The move out to Korea and just like being a caster was a long time dream. Around like 2010 when StarCraft 2 came out, I was just like, man, they just get to talk about video games all day. And they go home, they learn more about their craft by playing video games. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, they were just incredibly hilarious, just off the cuff riffing. I still remember the one
So good.
time they were talking about like just like someone being an absolute baller on the ladder, and just like taking ladder points from these unsuspecting nerds.
Nerds
Just
from
like
these
shows
guys.
up with their nerd gun. Give me your goddamn ladder points.
Give me your exactly like their banter is so simple, but it's exactly what I need when I'm watching StarCraft.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot of fun.
yeah, and that's exactly why like the highlight. I gotta see what software I need and what I need to download to do it, but I have the time now, so definitely thinking about it. Definitely thinking about it. In terms of branding, I think that would be the easiest way for me to start at least, because that's what I know most about and that's what I enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would start with that StarCraft highlights, or specifically tasteless and or toasted highlights. Instant clickbait, bro. Clickbait.
For sure. I know the one League of Legends caster's name is Captain Flowers. He was just like casting bronze division games from his room just to show that he could be a caster, and just grinding up videos of that. And then eventually got noticed. Now he's like actually a Riot employee, which was like super cool to hear about.
That's dope. Yeah, no, I think I would do okay at casting, to be honest, if that ever became a thing for me. I do it all like here and there on stream when we have like 5 6 people playing StarCraft. If I'm observing 1v1, I'm
Mm-hmm.
muting Discord on my end and I'm casting it just on stream. I'll cast it,
Nice.
but I think it's really fun. I think it's really enjoyable to cast. I'm sure there's more to it than when you're casting from home, but I really see the appeal um, in doing that, especially when it's like something exciting like a tournament happening, right? Like I would offer up like rather to play, I would offer to cast because it'd be so fun watching like especially people that are better than me, right? It's like what
Mm-hmm.
I can only do so much as a diamond player, but if we're playing like masters and higher, like it'd be really fun to cast and figure out what they're trying to do. It's almost a game. I feel like casting's almost a game. It's like what are they trying to do or what are they thinking? You're trying to figure out the end of the movie before you get there, right?
Oh,
That's basically it.
uh, I still remember back in StarCraft 2's infancy, we had like that sort of group chat. And I think the one time we actually managed to play a sort of in-house tournament, I seem to recall you were playing Zerg. You still doing that?
I I main Zergs. I'd say by nature in my mind I still main Zerg. The last year, 2019, most of 2019, I switched my play up to play all 3 races to learn everything about them. So now I'm still Diamond 3 Zerg, Diamond 3 Protoss, Diamond 3 Random. My Terran's at Plat 1. Terran's definitely my worst race. But that's what I did last year. And I think this year I want to really get back into Zerg and like figure out those builds that I never really like locked down. Especially since the game's changed now. They say Zerg is more balanced, so no more whiners, right? No more whiners.
Gonna hit.
It's interesting. If you didn't see the GSL Super Tournament finals, just watch that. Just the finals. It's
Yeah,
pretty
might check it out. It's been a while since I've
spicy.
actively looked at anything StarCraft 2 related.
They're back up. They had the most viewers when that tournament started up since 2015.
Damn.
So that yeah, it's definitely like it might just be the quarantine or whatever, but I'd say people are giving gaming a second look.
Are they still at odds with the Brood War community now that Brood War HD is active?
No, no, I think everybody got scared of being wiped out after they killed Heroes of the Storm.
Mm.
So I think all the communities were just like, we're happy to just kind of be gamers together and make sure that StarCraft
Thank you,
doesn't die.
Blizzard.
I think
Thank you
it's
for
very,
allowing us to continue to exist.
I think it's good. A lot of StarCraft 2 players in the last couple of years have gone back to StarCraft 1 since the remaster came out. So and I don't think those guys were like, "Oh, you loser, you were at StarCraft 2." I think it's fine. I think it's all very communal and people just love gaming and watching the sport. And we can call it that now, like wholeheartedly. We can't be like, "Oh, it's just gamers." No, it's like it's a sport. If I would rather watch an intense grand finals than the world's Olympics. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
it's coming to that point where that skill is way more impressive to me because I know what it takes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that because of the shutdown, ESPN was just like kind of scrounging around for content to put out on their like actual broadcast channels.
Right.
Um, I'm surprised that like they didn't offer up more esports sort of things because they wound up with stuff that I enjoy watching. If you ever heard of like the marble races, they broadcast that on like network television, which was insane.
Really. I've
Um,
I've only heard of what is it? Overwatch on ESPN or something.
uh,
I haven't heard of anything else
yeah, I
really.
think Overwatch is on like ABC. The big tournaments like Worlds and like the international will get some coverage on ESPN,
Yeah.
like the actual TV ESPN. I think they have like their own dedicated esports section on their websites for like ESPN and the score and stuff. But yeah, no actual like broadcast, which is weird because like back when MLG was like really popping off, they had a broadcast version of the MLG events for Halo, and that was like super sick to watch.
That's it's good that you mentioned that. Like there's so many other gaming communities, especially like the fighting game community, uh, that are huge, which is it just like a management perspective that they haven't popped off in a way that they should have, like
Especially at a time
globally? Are
like
they
now where it's just like, yeah, if you're starving for content, well, here you go, here it is. Um, I think
like
yesterday they broadcast an NBA 2K tournament with actual like professional athletes, and I think that's like the
playing?
closest
Yeah,
that they've gotten.
yeah. No, I've been following the NBA channel, and every now and then they're trying to continue the seasons, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
they'll have players playing, but um, I've noticed a lot more of stuff like that. Not only whether it be sports, but even like music, concerts. People are having like workshops, poetry workshops, writing workshops, this and that, because everybody's at home. So people are jumping on Twitch. People are jumping on Zoom. People are jumping on all these different things. The blow up of TikTok. Um,
Are you on TikTok at all?
what do you think? No, no, I'm not. I really am not. But it's hard to not see it in your day to day when you're scrolling through whatever social media you're on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way everything's, we're locked in. Everybody's going to digital. Everybody's doing stuff on their phone or their live or their, stories. And if this is for a prolonged period, then the people are already, if not going to, just focus their income on making money off of stuff like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And naturally that's where all investments will start to go as stuff. So I mean, I think esports is for sure at the forefront of it, but what do you think about like live concerts, which are just now it's just gonna be like Twitch concerts. You're gonna see your favorite artists, like you see Childish Gambino do a live Twitch concert this summer because Coachella's, or sorry, what's Oshega's canceled. Kendrick's not performing. You know, it's
Yeah,
everything's canceled.
I was so excited to see Kendrick again.
Yeah, I was gonna go to Oshega this year.
Um, One thing that I know with some degree of certainty is that because 2 weeks ago I had actually done like an improv class online. Um, the lack of feedback, which I think even LeBron James mentioned, which is why he didn't want to play in like a stadium that was empty of the audience, but like the players were still there, is that like that feedback really drives a lot of performances. And if it's not there and you're just kind of recording to silence, it's very difficult to do. And kudos to people who are willing to try it. um, the energy is just at a different level, and it'll probably just have an impact in that way as
That
digital
makes sense.
performances.
No, that makes sense. I can't imagine us watching that the Kendrick and Kanye concert without everybody like hyping up. I mean, I'm sure Kanye would still do the exact same
Oh, for
thing,
sure.
but I get what you're saying. Like 'cause being at a Drake concert, Drake's kind of half the things he does is let the crowd do it. Um, but yeah, no, I totally. That's a good point. That's a good point. That makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So
Ah,
what's have you seen any have you heard or seen any weird isolation stuff? Like people either panicking or overcompensating for something, or what have you
I
seen? What's the craziest stuff?
mostly just like any amount of hoarding was just an insane course of action for anyone to take.
Yeah.
Um, there was that house in New York that had like 5,000 cases of N95 masks that they were just keeping to themselves. How
What?
that happens, I have no fucking clue.
How do you get that many? You have to
Yeah,
rob like a trailer of it, like a shipping trailer.
you board a cargo ship. You say, "I'm the captain now," and it's like just deliver all these to my house.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what happened. How do you get that many? What a nut. Yeah, no, so I mean things are obviously not going so hot in the States.
Yeah. What about you? What kind of weird stuff have you seen?
Um this is a funny video I saw maybe like 3 weeks ago. It was a lady in probably a Walmart. She had like 40 jugs of milk.
Perishable goods.
Right. So
Um, there was a screen cap of I think like some waste management guy in, I want to say, Scotland, but just like mounds and mounds of food waste because people were hoarding things that were perishable. Again,
right,
just doesn't make
right.
any sense.
No, for sure. But
Also,
that being
allegedly,
said,
you
I
were
mean,
not audible to the stream, which is good to know. Thanks, Mist, in the chat for hollering about that.
oh wait, me or you or all of us?
You,
I
just
think
you.
that might
I've
be
turned up my system sound, so it should be okay now. Hopefully, it'll be fine.
so
No, oh
that's okay.
god,
This is the first it's the first run.
yeah,
At the end of the day, you have this all recorded.
yes. I will
So
mix the
it's
audio.
Twitch. You could just re-upload on Twitch. It's fine.
Do a
Nobody,
rerun.
nobody, nobody. Only people currently watching have noticed. Okay.
But yeah, that that performance to what is not an audience. Um,
There will be an
uh,
impact. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree.
Uh, I don't know if you feel like ever actively tried to stream on Twitch, but it is hard when when there is no one watching. It's just like, well, what am I doing? What am I talking about? Why? And it was like a hard sort of thing to like do alone as it is doing with an audience to like keep that energy
Oh,
up.
I totally feel what you're saying. I was doing it. I literally went through that exact emotion 2 nights ago. I was playing Resident Evil 3, the new one, or last night. Last night, yeah. And I was like, I went through my stream and I was just playing the game like I had an audience there. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
mentally. So like I just dealt with it like that. But even though there was nothing in the chat until, like Medardo came on and told me, I'm ugly and I need to get off stream. So it's still good for, let's call it practice, at that point, if anything, which is fine, flex your muscles and do what you should do, because there's nothing worse than uh like you shouldn't be streaming if you're just not going to interact at all, right?
Yeah.
If it's like I feel weird if I'm streaming and I haven't talked for a bit. I'd be like, oh, even if it's zero viewers there, you know what I mean? As I'm putting on a show, think of it as an entertainer. So it doesn't matter what's your first performance, what's your last performance. If you're gonna half-ass it and say somebody stumbles across your video and they check it out and they're like, oh, this guy's just sitting here not talking about nothing. I can just watch a walkthrough of this game, right? So I guess it goes back to like the branding and like you have to be unique, I guess, in your own way. Not like any other. You can copy streamers for certain things, but I'm not gonna be a Pokimane, you know. I'm not gonna get that. I can't just fucking do this shit and be, subscribed by a million. So it doesn't work like that, for sure. You gotta find your own thing. But that being said, I know exactly what you're talking about. Where there's been points where I'm just kind of talking. And I feel a little embarrassed because there's like nobody here. But you just push through it because who cares what anybody thinks, really? Yeah.
I know that when I'm actively gaming, like my brain doesn't have the processing power to like read someone's message and also think about the game and also like discuss what I'm trying to do,
Yep.
because just like, yeah, I'm
Yep.
working off of instinct at this point. Like I don't think about what I'm doing. I just kind of do it.
It's definitely. I see the biggest contrast for sure because like I'm either playing StarCraft or I'm playing whatever's new these days. So whenever I'm playing whatever is news these days, if it's like Doom Eternal, I was playing the other day, like that I can play through and be just like talking about it, like, oh, I wrecked that guy, I just took this guy's head off, blah blah blah. But StarCraft, you'll just see like my mouth open, I'm drooling because my brain's running at like max capacity to try to make this game work. You know what I mean? Like, so it's definitely depends what you're doing. I had a lot of fun with again the Resident Evil that came out because I played the demo first
Mhm.
and it genuinely scared the shit out of me. So I like clipped a couple of highlights that were just me like shitting my pants in the demo. Which when I went back and I showed a couple of my friends, it was just hilarious. And I guess that's the genuine the streamer coming out, right? You're like, okay, this is like what's going on. I'm like talking through it because I'm nervous too. The streaming's getting better, like it's better now. So that was interesting to see that way. But yeah, it's definitely different. Like playing StarCraft, if I'm going try hard, there's just music on and you just hear keyboard going. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. Yeah.
in, in the vein of the stream getting better, I only just now, after reading chat, saw that my Streamlabs was not outputting any desktop audio. So you were not heard for on stream for like the last while, but luckily recording with Zoom, we should still have you for the previous like
I
hour, 30
that's
minutes, however
that
long.
that's
Figuring
what
it
I
out.
figured.
Figuring it out.
I figured Zoom would still have it. I figured Zoom, as long as you can hear me
Oh
and
yeah,
Zoom says
that's
it's
all. That's all that's
recording.
important. Whether or not this
Yeah,
becomes an actual show or a podcast doesn't matter. I'm here to talk to you, my
that's okay. We could redo this whole thing next week.
man. So you mentioned a name I've not heard in a while. Our mutual friend Medardo. Uh, Basically, I met both of you around the same time. Would have been grade five. Um, what sort of friendships have you maintained throughout the years, and like how long has that sort of endured?
Um, that's a good question. There's definitely I have different groups of friends based on when I met them, basically, right?
Mhm.
So, like you, I met, around the same time I met Medardo, Anise,
Mhm.
that crew, right? And I'd say me, Medardo, and Anise, we all lived near each other, so we kind of grew up together. And
Do you still live near each other now?
no, well, Medardo lives near in Waterloo still, but
Gotcha.
and my family's there, so I see him every now and then. But a niece is in like the Middle East or something. He dropped out of social contact a couple of years ago. Um, but those guys, it, and again, those are the guys that like I hung out with every day almost growing up when I wasn't at school, right? It was like the
Mhm.
after school stuff. Like these guys were the ones I hang out with all day. So we know each other inside out like brothers, to be honest. It's um like you don't choose family almost. You know
You
what I
do
mean?
choose your friends,
So
yeah.
whatever the good yeah, so like whatever the good, the bad, like these guys are family, I would say in that sense. So like
Oh hell yeah.
we've been through so much shit. Yeah, I know what you were trying to say, but it's the opposite of that. I'm saying they're like family because you can't choose them. You have to fucking just you have to deal with them. So like with Medardo, like that's my brother, but we've been through so much stuff that I know like every bad thing about him. He knows every bad thing about me. I know everything good about him. I know everything good about he knows everything good about me, and we know how to deal with each other as well. So like we know our qualities, like I said, our strengths and weaknesses. So when if I'm being, if I'm up to my usual no good or something, he'll know how to, temper it. And if I see him acting out of line, then I know how to whip him back into shape as well, right? And that's the kind of relationship that's we've built, and it's only long lasting because it's just like that's my brother. I love him. He can piss me off. He can make me happy. It's whatever. It's at the end of the day, it's been too long. Unless he tries to murder me, I don't think we're
that's
just gonna
going
continue.
that's going
Yeah,
away
it's just
anytime soon.
yeah. So it's just gonna continue going. And then I have like other friends I made in like college, and uh, I've made some really good friends in college who have helped me in academia in terms of uh, just dealing with the craziness that is engineering. It's nothing that my other friends could really relate to, or anybody I could band with to you know be like, yeah, this shit sucks. How do we cope with this? So met a slew of people, great people that are all doing big things, and grateful to really meet them in university, and a lot of them I'm still very close with in terms of just making sure everybody's keeping up. We're not tight like my friends who I party and go out and drink with. We're tight in another sense where it's like we worked so hard during that time. How are you doing? Is everything good? Is everything like did we make it? You know what I mean? It's those kind of conversations that happen. So it's different, definitely in the sense of that. Different. We went through different hardships. Um, and that being said, like there's a group of friends I have from high school where we went through our shit together in high school. So
Mhm.
we're friends in terms of like that group of friends we meet up, we play poker, we play Catan, like we'll play Smash Bros tournaments, like we'll hang out and do stuff like that. And that's we just meet up to have a good time, and we do our things that way and keep each other in check. But the one thing that I would say is new friends. I don't know what a new friend is. Not I haven't known what a new friend is in a little bit. I've met a couple new people in the last year or two, and I've been friends with them. But um, it's definitely whether it's just my lifestyle. I don't really go out and meet people, or whether it's as you get older, people are harder to connect with you unless they're like super extrovert, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll just everybody's on guard when you're fucking close to 30.
Yeah. Um,
Everybody's like, yeah, who are you? What do you want? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
it's
that's
like
the
it's like you'll have coworkers, but like for some reason, that sort of social environment of a workplace just feels a lot different from that of like the schooling, where even though you're still with the same people every day, you know 8 hours a day, um, the connection just doesn't feel the same.
no, no. And I mean, I don't know how it's for you. For me, like I'm like one of the youngest people at my company, so like
Oh,
everybody's like
absolutely.
they have kids like in their 20s
It's like I can't relate to that.
at all. On the phone, they're like I guess going through cabin fever, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They're like, how are you doing? Is everything good? I've been like, I've been doing this for like 10 years, so like, yeah, just another day. If anything, it's nice. I don't have to go to work. I just sit at home.
If you need tips, let me know. I
Yeah,
got some
yeah,
for you.
yeah, exactly. It's like I can give you a whole list of things to do. A lot of them are good games. Yeah, no. No, but life's really good in terms of that. Working from home, like my position is like a project manager, so like most of my stuff is organization of timelines, triggers to call out people and to initiate tasks, or just setting up meetings and taking meetings. So I'm either on the phone, on my laptop, or I'm typing out an email or setting up a document to send out, and between that I'm just gaming, man. So
Oh
quarantine's
wow.
been pretty good. Yeah, quarantine's been pretty good. I'm getting paid. I'm basically living the dream. I'm getting paid to game. I'm almost
if
there, Chris. I'm
if you
almost
if you
there.
need me to edit any part of this out for your employers, just let me know.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
That's
they
fine.
know.
That's
They
fine.
know. They're in on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. They should know. They should know. They're like, we gotta. This guy's going places. What
Man,
about you?
how
Is it? Are you like one of the youngest people at your place,
I am
or
far
is it
and
more?
uh there's like a couple people of similar age. All of them I think are contract. A lot of my coworkers tend to skew older, like 30s, like yeah, 30s, 40s. Um,
Okay.
it was super jarring when I started because I was like 24 and everybody else was easily in their 40s, if not older.
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, there's nobody to relate to here. I'm just gonna keep my head down, do my work, and go home at the end of the day.
Fair enough.
I've started.
Sorry, what were you gonna ask before
I
I interrupt?
don't even remember at this point. I think I was
Okay.
gonna ask how long do you think COVID's gonna last?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Let's have more questions like that. It's a nice little.
I'm not sure how much I want this to be more escapism and not talk about COVID, but it's a thing that's happening. So why not?
I don't. I think we've escaped whatever we needed to escape just because of quarantine. So there's no escaping anything now. It's just more so. This is an interesting topic, so you should definitely discuss it. Now, I think personally that COVID is going to go into Halloween.
Hmm, poor kids.
I don't know if it'll be full quarantine till Halloween, but we are gonna be like 6 feet apart till Halloween.
Yeah, I'm I'm very annoyed by the people who like compare this to the flu, in terms of like mortality rate sort of thing. But it's just like a we never go into lockdown for the flu, so calm down. People don't have the sort of transmission rate and incident or mortality rate with the flu. Sorry, not mortality rate, but like just sheer quantity of mortalities or fatalities. It's insane.
I was just looking up a stat. Let me just search this up. Okay, yeah, this is hilarious. Like another thing that adds to that, Wimbledon, the like the famous tennis
Yeah.
tournament, has been canceled for the first time since World War II because of coronavirus. If that doesn't spell it out for you, you know what I mean? I don't know what will. Like,
Yeah.
there hasn't been anything serious since World War II.
That being said, I do hope that a lot of this is just kind of like preaching to the choir. Like, I hope that anybody who listens to this was probably just people that I know are fully aware of the severity of the goings on.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
there was an NHL lockout year, I think in like 1919, also because of a pandemic. Did you see the post where it's just like Toronto's cursed? Basically,
No, what would it say?
a lot of seasons where Toronto will win a professional sports championship, the season after there is some kind of lockdown crisis. It happened with, I believe, hockey. However many years ago. Toronto basketball in this previous season. I think there was like a Jays one, but yeah.
I I think we're definitely we definitely have a lot of bad luck. But people are superstitious,
Oh,
and
for sure.
I don't think it I would much more easily believe that games are rigged than Toronto has a bad luck or Toronto is cursed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so that's where I stand in terms of that. No, but yeah, no, things are getting canceled left and right. Like the world is getting shut down, and I don't know really what the people that aren't taking it seriously is what concerns me. Like I've been very adamant to a certain friend of mine who he's trying to have his wedding in June, and I
Oh
said,
dear.
"Listen, you should probably like start
I'm hopeful.
looking
Yeah,
at
hopeful for
on
that
your
guy,
backup."
but start maybe thinking about not doing that because June's
Yeah,
rapidly approaching.
yeah, no, exactly, and that was the thing. It was like the reason I made a commotion to him, I did bring it up and I called him out on it was because he wasn't even acknowledging it. It was like, hey, like, have you even thought about it, or have you
Yeah.
like sat down and been like, okay, alternative dates? Like your priest isn't gonna show up. First of all, the venue's gonna be locked. Um, so yeah, like it was a he in a initially he was upset about it and he ignored it, ignored my comments, but I just kind of like dug the dagger into him until he faced it essentially
Yeah.
for the
Um,
better actually. Like I'm sure he needs to figure it out.
yeah. Working at insurance, I remember the early onset. So like beginning of March, we would get claims like, okay, these are all the trips that are happening within like the 2 week span. They want their money back. That's fine. Then I started seeing claim like people wanting refunds for like trips that are happening in May and June and like October. I'm just like, I can't tell if this is an overreaction or not because it's just like it's hard to predict when it's going to be safe to go outside again, really.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Like
And I
even
feel for these people.
in my company's going month by month. Like they're like we waited till end of March and then April 1st they were like, "Yep, another month." And we're going to wait till the end of April to hear that it's going to be the end of May. Like it's just the way things are going really. Until this like gets fully snuffed out and you don't hear anything for like 2 weeks, that'll be the end of COVID. When there's
Yeah,
nothing for 2 weeks, no new cases, no nothing.
I think that's what Dr. Fauci was saying a day or two ago, which is like once we can relax social distancing once there's no reported new cases and no new deaths.
Yeah, and I'd be safe. I'd say like a month or two of no new cases is
Yeah.
like you can hug man's outside. You know, like, you know.
Ooh, you're picking up the Toronto patois saying mans.
Oh, all day. I mean, they've been there for years. I grew up listening to Drake, so it's a Toronto ting for sure. That's his fault. So what do you think about like the frontline workers for COVID? They're getting screwed right now just because they don't have equipment. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Masks, gloves. In terms of the hospital itself, they need mad ventilators for the people that are sick.
Hmm.
Um, resources are being taken up, hospital beds are being taken up, and that's the biggest problem with the
Yeah.
pandemic. Which one
Pandemic.
is it? Pandemic.
Pan
Pandemic
pan
is the one that goes
Pan
across
wide. Yeah.
continents. Okay, yeah, pan-wide. Okay, so the problem is like the capacity of people that they can't take, right? Not that they don't have what's needed. So there's a bunch of donations I've seen out that you can donate to, make masks, make ventilators,
Hmm.
uh, and it's across the world. Like there's stuff in
Oh yeah.
Europe, stuff in America, stuff in Canada. And I've seen some big companies like Tesla making moves to supply these. 3M is supplying the worldwide. Um, but then there's stuff like, Trump demanding 3M that
They don't
they
give their stuff to Canada.
don't don't sell it to anybody. They said
Yeah.
anybody, but they did point out Canada. And I think that's funny because Trump 2 months ago was saying this wasn't a problem. This
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
a pandemic. So
That guy is a big problem on the history of the world.
uh, he's gonna definitely go down in history. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's that being like an extreme example, but then what do you think about what do you think about the stuff that people are doing? Like they go out at 8 p.m. and they clap and cheer or something.
I, so of the videos I've seen,
Honest thoughts. Yeah.
I've it's kind of cool for for like extremely localized communities and neighborhoods, like be able to sort of band together in that way since everybody's otherwise isolated from one another.
There's two sides to it, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, uh, but from a practical standpoint, take it or leave it.
Yeah, no, I definitely had a pet peeve with it because, like you said, if it's a localized community where Debbie across the street is busting her ass at the hospital tonight,
Yeah.
and she's coming home at 8:30, and she's driving into the neighborhood, everybody's gonna come out and clap. That I understand. That's something I can get behind.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about all these Toronto clout chasers who are just going out on their balcony and screaming and shouting, but they don't know one healthcare worker. They don't know if somebody's trying to sleep right now. They don't know if this person is, even home. Like these people are either working or sleeping. So what do you think about that?
Cloud chasers can go eat one. I haven't heard much about that aspect of it. Maybe I've just like muted those channels to my life because it's just like social media. I'm only on Facebook with just like people
Well,
that I know. Um, so like
well, you wouldn't really know if you saw it, right? You just see a video of whatever. It'd be a
yeah,
Toronto downtown, like 5 skyscrapers. They're screaming or whatever and honking and stuff, right? But
mhm.
it would be much more beneficial in my mind to go donate some money, cut something out of your paycheck to donate to those masks,
Oh, absolutely.
or whether, but in my mind, like you can never catch somebody doing this, right? You can never be like, hey, did you donate or did you just clap for them at 8:30, right? But to me, if you're just clapping at 8:30, you're doing it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. You're doing it for the
What do you think
gram.
about that?
Does
Doing it for, well, yeah, that's the fancy way to say it, but you're doing it to so you feel better
mm-hmm.
from a psychological standpoint, right? You're trying to
Yeah,
say, I'm not doing shit, but here's me doing something, right? And it might be from the goodness of your heart, but like
it
there's other
is.
things you can do. There's
Yeah,
much more you can do.
because anybody taking this spot like this time, like this time to make it about anything even remotely close to them instead of the people that are on the front line
Yeah, like
is
I've
insane.
I've put like I don't have a lot of money, so if I see something that looks legit, you have to make sure it's legit and
Mm-hmm.
it's an actual donation, go through the right thing. I've put $5 here, $10 there, $20 here, but again, I won't do it and I'll post it up and be like, yo, here's what I put, here's what
Yeah,
you
you do.
should do. But people putting this clapping stuff, I was actually like, I called a friend out on it. I'm like, I hope it pays that nurse's rent. Like, I I hope it pays for that nurse to hire a babysitter in this time. Like, sure, all your thanks and your claps. It's one of those like, I'm doing my part when you like give people your prayers and hopes. It's a big meme on the
Oh yeah,
internet, right? You know what I'm talking
thoughts
about,
and
right?
prayers,
So
thoughts and
I
prayers.
saw, yeah, thoughts and prayers. So like the meme was so actualized for me personally here, like around us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if you actually want to go do something like these other people are doing. Like people are donating like food to the people that can't eat and all this stuff. And the entire U of T like medical school basically volunteered to help hospitals.
Oh
And
yeah,
that was
that was
huge.
huge.
So there's like stuff like that going on, and then there's these people who are, and again, I'm for sure being just mad at them, right? Being to the specific people who aren't doing shit and just posted it on the gram.
Yeah.
So I either way, yeah, I guess that's off my chest.
Happy to be the conduit for that. Um,
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, fuck them.
Fair enough.
I'm breaking the seal. We are allowed to
Cannot.
curse. We are allowed to curse on this podcast.
Perfect, because I'm pretty sure I swore like 2 or 3 times today when we were talking about some other stuff.
All good, man.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that's the state of what my life is right now. Everything's really good in terms of me.
Happy to hear it.
Um,
Like I
in
mentioned
terms of
earlier,
me, everything's really good.
I was super worried during that like sort of 2014 MLM period where it's just like,
Oh
man,
man,
I hope he's gonna be okay.
me
not
too, man.
not
It was
saying
crazy.
anything, just hope he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, no, no, no. Things are definitely good on my end now, and I'm just having a good time. I'm trying to see make it to next Friday because Final Fantasy Remake comes out,
Oh hell yeah,
and
dude.
I'm just gonna play that all weekend. Next weekend, that's all I'm doing, and maybe we can have another podcast about specifically the game.
Oh yeah,
Like
I'm
for
going to have so
all,
many offshoot podcasts about this. The next one's going to be about esports and gaming, and then we'll see what other guests have to bring to the table and what I can spin off
absolute,
into my brand.
absolutely, absolutely. I look forward to the Tofu Boy YouTube channel.
Appreciate it.
Like and
Uh,
subscribe.
yeah,
Hit
that
the
can be found
bell.
at youtube.com/going viral. I think is what my actual YouTube
It's
username
one of
is.
your accounts.
Yeah,
Do
I
it. Do it.
I
You should
made
keep it
that
that.
shit in like 2010. I thought I was going to be huge on the internet, and then I just put in zero
You know
effort.
what? You should have stuck to it back then, but we're gonna try it again now.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna try it again now. In quarantine.
There's like
Quarantine.
there's like videos of like League of Legends scrims, some StarCraft games,
Like from back then.
yeah, and like my World of Warcraft kill videos.
You're still okay, so there's something we can talk
Oh
about. You're
yeah,
still an active WoW player.
dude,
We
I,
didn't even mention on it. That's like 80% of what you do. Like
much to the,
we
again
didn't
much to
even
the
talk
chagrin
about
of
it.
some people who care about me. Um, yeah, it was just like that ability to connect over the internet was something that I was doing anyway. So like this affected that in no way. Um, if anything, we just get to be like more talkative as there's a shared experience for everyone to get into. But yeah, I've been playing.
What's sorry, no, no, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
yeah. So I fell out of WoW for a couple expansions after Lich King because I was like, the big expansion that everyone universally enjoyed. And then I
Mm-hmm.
came
Mm-hmm.
back for Warlords of Draenor because a friend of mine actually started that I met first year university started picking up WoW. And up until that point, nobody that I knew in the real world played WoW. It was just like this thing I did.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like this thing I did alone. Um, I like put myself out there to like guilds and stuff, but like nobody that I knew personally had any sort of connection to WoW. But then, finally got some friends to do it for the expansion previous to the current one. Uh, I started my own guild. Um, we raid like 2 nights a week for three
Oh,
hours a
okay.
night,
Yeah.
which is like a schedule that fits into basically most adult human being schedules. Because a big
That's
turnoff,
actually pretty fair. That's very fair.
yeah, like 2 by 3, easy. Um, a big turnoff for me for most guilds was that like they were rating, 3 by 3, which is like, it's on the cusp of it, or like 3 by 4, 4 by 3, just like 9, 12 hours a week. It's just like, man, I don't think I can commit that much time to it anymore. Like I'm a grown man. I got relationships to maintain and stuff. Not romantic, just social relationships. Um, but yeah, so
Don't worry, man. I was gonna ask.
we started doing all right for ourselves.
I
Go ahead.
good. So you would say you're fully active. You're fully active right now in
Oh
WoW.
hell yeah, I'm fully active. I was doing arenas before this record started.
Cool, cool. No, I have a buddy. He plays WoW a lot. He has like 4 or 5 max level champs, but he just got back into it,
Mhm.
and he's playing every night, man. But I'll send you his information after this.
Yeah,
See if there's any
I'll look it up. I'll look it up on the
mutual
Battle.net.
alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
take a look because
I
I wouldn't know.
we have each other on BNet, right? That's the thing.
We have each other in B night. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'd be
Yeah, yeah,
surprised
we
if
have
we
each
didn't.
other. I know when you're online. I can creep you. No, I have you.
But yeah,
I have you. Yeah, no, I'll send that. I'll send that information because I know he's been looking for people just because he's reconnecting back,
yeah.
right? It's always
I had
hard
a friend
when
mess
the
with me the
old
other
guild
day.
is gone.
I don't think he's ever played
Yeah.
WoW before, but he was asking if I would like help him get better at WoW. I'm just like, yeah, sure. That's the end of my story. That
Yeah.
was not worth
I
interrupting you
considered it
for.
because he. It was a good story. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, because my friend was like, "Yo, you should play with me." And I was like, "Bro, I would start level one,
that's a
and I
huge
don't have
ask.
money right now for this. I really
Yeah.
don't." It's a big ask. It's like almost asking him to marry me. He basically said, "You want to be my wife for like 4 months?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
Part-time wifey, man.
Well, I'll keep swiping on Tinder. We'll see what happens.
Uh, a wonderful experience online dating is, isn't it?
Um, I mean, it's been pretty lackluster for me. How about you?
Uh, I've gotten like 6 matches across 3 or 4 different apps. It's great. One of them was like talking to a parrot. So I'll ask a question, they'll ask the exact same question and have like very bland answers. One person was formerly in a cult, and I really wanted to get to know that person,
What?
but then they just like started, but then they like ghosted me. I'm just like, well, that's a bummer. Um, and then the other 4 matches were all just like immediate ghosts, where it's like you have a match, nobody's ever messaging each other.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've now
Sounds
restricted
about
myself
right.
to just Bumble, because it's just like, yeah, you know what, we'll go on Bumble every day. We'll have like 10 swipes total, and then we'll be done,
Yeah,
and we'll
I think that's
regulate
what
our
it
time
is.
that way.
I think it's just the minimum consistent volume, and you just kind of you put your seed in that hole,
Yeah,
and you leave it. You do your swipes and you leave it, and then you
the
try to
phrase
meet people in real life.
the phrasing is kind of interesting on that one. Putting seeds in holes. Uh, I'll allow it.
You know what? I'm sure there's a better way to say it, but for the sake of this argument, it's gonna work.
Yep, just seeds in holes.
Just a couple of seeds in holes. That's my that's how you use dating apps.
And I think,
Uh, yeah, no, the not a especially since the quarantine, man. Do like, what am I gonna? We're gonna have a video date. You know what I
yeah, man,
mean? You're gonna buy her Uber drink.
you're gonna take that you're gonna take that bottle of red. You're gonna put it in front of the camera. You're gonna pour a glass for yourself, a glass for her. You're gonna drink both. Um, but you'll make it nice and romantic. You just have the camera point at the kitchen table.
Turns out I had a fantastic time. She had no alcohol, so she just sat there and watched me
She
drink.
was the designated driver. She wasn't allowed.
She wasn't allowed. No, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can make jokes like this all day because I don't really feel lonely anymore, right? Once you get accustomed to just kind of grinding and doing your own thing.
Yeah, making jokes at this time
But
is
it's
weird.
funny how people,
If it's like about
I
COVID,
know
because it's
because
just
you're
like such
like,
a serious thing,
whoa,
but you want to just
everybody,
like
well,
calm down and like laugh a little bit and make sure that people are aware that it's fine to like
it's
laugh at
because
things.
it's because this is how we've been getting through life, right? So
Oh
it's like
yeah,
this is what we do. We just laugh
this is
at
our
it,
coping
right?
mechanism.
But now you're like, uh-oh, there's all these like people who are new
Mm-hmm.
in our lifestyle, and they're scared, and they're not prepared. So you don't want to be too offensive because they might just like lose their shit.
You
Uh,
can't say that.
cabin
People are
fever,
dying.
cabin fever is real. I didn't know what cabin fever was because like I guess you'd have to be so outgoing and so always like with other people that like to feel cabin fever, like it's weird. I remember as a kid it was always like a dream for me to have a week. Remember you when you would have like Christmas break? I have
Christmas
a
break,
week
March
to play
break.
games.
Hell yeah, dude.
March break, whatever. I have a week to play games. Yo, they just gave me a month to play games. I'm 17 again. Exactly. I'm back in the day. I'm playing COD Warzone, playing StarCraft. Like thinking about making YouTube videos. Like this is a wild time.
Do it. I'll
It's
give you a
definitely a
follow.
wild time.
Give you a follow on the YouTube.
Yeah,
Give you a
we're on
follow
a
on the Twitch.
podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
never thought this would
absolutely. You'll see
happen.
some StarCraft highlights. Yeah, no, that's good. We're on a podcast. Listen, when you first said the podcast thing, I was like, absolutely, why not?
Yeah,
Because I always imagined you doing a podcast. It was just,
nice. Thank you.
you know what? I think it was from like the first time I saw you stream or something.
Yeah,
And this
but
probably has to do with why everybody keeps telling you sound nice.
appreciate it. I remember first having the idea when I started getting into podcasts in like 2014, 2015, somewhere in that era. Um, but yeah, I'm glad it led to this wonderful discussion. It's been good talking to you again, Shiv.
Yeah, what like when did we start?
Two-ish. It is
A little
currently.
before two, if I remember. Wow, that went by.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went by quick, man.
Uh,
Absolutely, we should
and
have a. Let's
sorry, finish
go
your thought.
ahead. I was just
No,
gonna
no,
say we
after
should
you,
have a
after you.
follow up. We should have a. I was just gonna say we should have a follow up. We should make the next one a nice theme, just between us,
Oh yeah.
something of interest between us. I don't know what you want to do, but brainstorm something and I'll do some research and we'll go at it. We'll just rip it apart. Could
We'll
be any
we'll
topic,
we'll
man.
just we'll just gush over the Raptors for an hour.
You should, you know what? You should have like a Wheel of Fortune wheel where it's just like a bunch of topics and then just and then
Hmm.
this week.
I'm
Hey,
gonna jot that down as like a segment idea for this show. Thank you for your contribution.
there needs to be segments. If you're
Yeah,
thinking about it, just look what PewDiePie does and have something nice every day of the week.
that was when I did like my pilot episode a couple years back. That was like the one big feedback that I got, remembered, did not implement into this episode. Um, but we'll definitely try to do a better job of adding structure to this for going forward.
Oh no, I think this went great because in my mind I was like, I think I can talk for a while.
Dude, you
I just
absolutely
don't. I
carried the
hope we
show.
don't.
I'm so glad to have you on as a guest. It's been a ride.
My big fear was just that we were gonna be like, hey, hi, and then there was gonna be
Oh
like
yeah,
a 15-minute pause.
that is absolutely something that I fully accept as being an option of happening, and
Absolutely.
I look forward to it
All right,
with a
perfect.
different
I'm gonna let
guest.
you close it out. Give your closing comments.
Uh, that was it. That was all I got. Just thanking you for your time.
That was perfect.
Is there one piece of structure that I know is imperative to podcasts? Is there anything you would like to plug at this time? I know you mentioned you had a Twitch stream. Shout that out real quick.
Yeah. I'll plug myself in too. You can follow me on Twitch. My handle's kingshivi, KINGSHIVI. You can catch me playing usually some StarCraft, maybe some League, or just messing around with some homies. But always trying to have a good time, trying to make some good content, trying to make people laugh. That's what it is.
Hell yeah, my
Thanks,
dude.
Chris, for having me again.
No problem. You want to play the game of
And
League?
of course, let me know. Yeah, I'll play with you, man. Yeah, we can hop off this, hop on League.
Sick.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's
Well,
do it.
anybody out there who was listening, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next week.